Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy.
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
And it is I, Shino Brando.
For today's episode, we'll be discussing every main continuity Batgirl, from Batman's side to the full cowl and glide.
So, it all began with an editor at DC Comics named Julius Schwartz. He was asked by the people behind the Batman 66 show, Adam West, claimed to fame for most of his life, following the publication of a little book called Seduction of the Innocent. Now, for those that, don't like to look up Golden Age continuity in their spare time, Seduction of the Innocent was a book by American psychiatrist Frederick Wortham, published in 1954, that warned that comic books were a negative form of popular literature and a serious case of juvenile delinquency. It also criticized, it is most famous actually, for criticizing that Batman and Robin were in a homosexual relationship. And it's the 50s.
Yeah,
and
don't
it's
forget
the 50s.
Don't forget, they also emphasized pedophilic homoerotic.
Icky.
Yeah, relationship.
Most icky.
Yeah.
So, this led to the creation of, at least in the 66 show, the development of a character known as Aunt Harriet.
Yeah, I remember. Aunt
Now
Harriet.
putting her in the mansion with these two men, proving that, well, at least, one of them might be gay, but can't be both. And they can't be gay for each other because now there's a woman involved. And women can't be gay.
No, we're not allowed.
So, also Alfred's there. So let's just hold that thought there. Julius Schwartz was asked to create a young female character, tone down the possible gay, tone down the gay, and attract the female viewers to the show. And so came across Bill Finger's creation of the first Batwoman and Batgirl, which we'll get into and who they are. But upon seeing these two characters, Julius Schwartz said to Bill Finger, little guy known for creating Batman,
creating everything in the
No
Bat
big
arsenal.
that these two characters were dated and unrealistic. He then had to backpedal that comment because he then created Batgirl for the 66 show. The comic world's first major backpedal.
Oh.
Popularity rose because of Yvonne Craig, who took the role, and she was surprised by the alarming popularity that she got. And she emphasized that she was proud to have taken the role and given little girls a role model to look up to. That was a quoted chick in the industry who could do what the guys do.
Probably just as revolutionary as Uhura on Star Trek.
Yeah, just as much.
And that leads us to probably some character history.
Sure
Table,
does.
you mind giving us some introduction on that?
So, if we want to talk about the first, the original, the woman who is to this day largely synonymous with Batgirl, you've got to start with Barbara Gordon. She prefers Babs because Barbara is, antiquated and dated. But Babs grew up with, her relationship with Jim Gordon has been retconned like a good handful of times.
Right.
So,
As any good comic thing is.
Exactly. So
from
whether her
daughter to
mom's
niece to
dead,
daughter.
whether her dad's dead, whether he's her uncle, whether it's a little bit up for debate. But the heart of the relationship is very father-daughter. That's what they are to each other, regardless of what DC wants to tell you is going on.
Right.
And we all know Jim Gordon. He's, he grows to be commissioner of the GCPD. So Babs is kind of terrifying before she even puts on a cape. As in, she's got an eidetic memory, so she remembers everything forever all the time.
Yeah, it was a key thing in her librarian role too.
Yes, because she works as a librarian.
Yeah.
She ends up taking up vigilantism not in any sort of apprentice role to anybody. She takes it up on her own and uses the bat as the symbol it's meant to be to strike fear into the hearts of criminals as she does her own thing. She does eventually end up on Batman's radar, but
the fun thing with that, she wore a costume for I think a costume party and ended up saving her friend's life while wearing the costume. And then I think she happened to bump into Batman, who tried to talk her out of doing it, but she's like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyways. So yeah.
And then got addicted to it.
Yeah, hardcore.
all vigilantes are adrenaline junkies. It's in the job description. So Babs ends up being Batgirl for, it feels to us like a long time because, real world timelines. But in actuality, she wasn't Batgirl for that long before she ends up retiring, I believe, for college purposes.
I
That sure
think
sounds
so.
right. Yep.
I
Yeah,
want to
and
say she was also running for Congress at one point too, so that may be
she
part of it
was
as
running
well.
at Congress at one point, but I thought that was later.
I think so. I can't remember though.
Well, anyway, she retires from vigilantism to take her real person life more seriously.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for her, the
The
criminal
Killing
scene of
Joke
Gotham,
happens.
yeah,
Mm.
the criminal scene is not yet done with her, and it's not even vigilante related. She gets targeted not for herself, but because she's related to Jim Gordon, which makes her one of many, many female characters to have their arc and value thrown under the bus for some dickhead's man pain.
Yeah.
That's
Do it. Do you want me to jump into that a little bit?
Absolutely.
for
If
it,
you've
man.
got points to talk about, let's go.
Okay, so that went down because Alan Moore wanted to make a plot point out of it, right? To I guess further Batman and Jim Gordon's pain. Ooh, because in the 90s, ooh, it was happening, right? 80s,
Ooh,
90s, ooh,
pain.
dark stuff was happening. All right, yeah, it motivates them to do
DC
better
is an
stuff for
angst machine.
some fucking reason, right? Basically, Alan Moore went into Len Wein, I believe, and asked if he could cripple her for plot point reasons. Len then got on the phone with, I believe, Dick Giordano and discussed it, and then literally called Moore back and told him, yeah, okay, cripple the bitch. Not so subtle, not so nice, man. Not yeah, not so great. And you can look that quote up because it really went down.
He's
Kind
like,
of
yeah, go
crazy,
for
man.
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he could have said, yeah, go for it, but he went for the more ruder route.
The
right? We
expletive.
didn't need that. Yeah, we didn't need that, right? And that's unfortunate because that plays into the whole women in refrigerators thing, man. This that cold, callous kind of attitude that puts them on the back burner or makes them a tool for someone else's drive, which is kind of crazy.
It's one thing to cripple a character for their own narrative, for their
Yeah.
own story.
Right.
Like, it's dark material, but those are stories that can really apply to real people and make them feel seen and really connect with them.
That's right.
This wasn't that. This had nothing to do with Barbara's growth. It was all about giving Jim Gordon a terrible experience.
Yeah.
I don't know who's worse at this point in time. Julia Schwartz for calling two women dated and unrealistic, or Len Wein for going kill the bitch. Leave a comment of which one you think is worse.
Worse. Please do.
Would you prefer to be trapped in a closet with this ravenous mongoose or this frothing badger?
Do I have option C for neither?
Yeah, no, your option C is Alan Moore crawling out of his masturbatory hole.
Ah,
Icky.
Doing his best Gandalf.
Now, you
Let's go.
started talking about the original Batgirl, but earlier I mentioned an original Batgirl. That girl would
Okay.
be Betty Kane. She showed
thought
up
it was
when
Bet.
Betty.
Is it?
Better.
Shit.
I swear it's Bet Kane. Oh no, she's right. Yeah, Betty and Bet. She goes by both.
Haha, I do
That's
research apparently.
confusing.
Her first appearance was in Batman 139 in April 1961, a full 6 years before Barbara Gordon shows her head. Unfortunately, she happens to be the niece of Kathy Kane, who is Batwoman, and the love interest of both Batman and Robin, respectively.
Yes.
Icky.
Right? She is the first Batgirl to join a Teen Titans team of Teen Titans West. And that's about all there is to her, because once Crisis on Infinite Earths happens and the entire universe becomes one thing again, she's full-on retconned out of existence and only exists to be flame-birthed in a different continuity.
Might I add
Yes.
that the addition of Kathy Kane, was it Catherine Kane or Kate? There's so many branches off of, I don't remember who's who anymore. But that one and Betty Kane, like, single-handedly brought down sales in that Bat book, especially when they added Batmite and Ace the Bat Hound, and we had a sitcom of the Bat family. Yeah, sales went down to like nothing. So the idea to get rid of almost all of that happened, and it only kind of took off when Denny O'Neil got behind the pencil. But that's a discussion for another day.
The near-death experiences of not only the characters, but the continuity itself.
Yeah.
Now, because the Killing Joke happened, Barbara Gordon gets to take on what I personally think is the better identity for a little while there,
Yes.
Oracle.
Yeah.
Oracle
And
is
Oracle's
so cool.
first appearance is in Suicide Squad number 23 in January of 1989.
Oracle is not only, like, first of all, a sick name, but secondly, she fills a role that up until that point really hadn't been considered and is to this day still lacking in the Bat family because Barbara has since been retconned back into Batgirl.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna. But that idea of a technologically minded focus, someone to handle the ridiculous world of computers as it was evolving and going, yes, this is something that is useful and we need, and she can do like nobody else. She is the power behind all vigilante activity in Gotham.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Put Alfred behind it all?
Well, there's an
Lucius
Alfred TV
Fox,
show,
maybe?
so you never know. There seems to be more to Alfred than we realize, as they're trying to explain on the TV.
Yeah, he ends
TV
up with a
series as we
niece or
speak.
something.
It's that's one continuity. Nice to see you.
I think it's also been implied in a couple of Birds of Prey comics because Barbara starts her own team. She goes, you know what? I don't have to answer to anyone, and just organizes a bunch of female heroes into one of the kick-assest teams in the DC universe.
Mm.
But based on, not everyone on the Birds of Prey being as anti-murder as most of Gotham's vigilantes are, it's
looking at
kind
you,
of been more than implied that Babs is more down with murder than maybe previously assumed.
She
Yeah.
also leads a League of Batgirls, which is super funny,
That is pretty funny.
that some later characters would be a part of, and they would just all be Batgirls.
I'm a Batgirl, you're a Batgirl, everyone's a Batgirl. But do we
dig
have
it.
capes for it?
We certainly don't have the gays for it.
Wow.
I think, though, before we move on to anyone else, we should have the discussion that is deeply important to all of us. What's
Go on.
Babs' best outfit?
Babs' best outfit is the black and yellow outfit.
Yes.
Bar done.
I like the boots on her new one. Those are
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But I can't stand that headpiece.
The one that they featured in Young Justice was also a nice one as well. I like
That one was actually a pretty good one too.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. They've been treating her costumes pretty well, man. Like, she's had some consistent costumes throughout the years. It never really deviates too much other than color swaps, right? Like, she had like gray, blue, and yellow. She had black and yellow.
There is one exception to that.
Yeah,
And
go
it's
on.
the one I like.
Yeah, this one.
It's the motorcycle one with the clip-on cape.
Truly inspired by, I believe, Yvonne Craig's costume from the TV show, 66 Batman.
And there's a fantastic cover art of her on her bike in the same way that Prince is on his bike for the cover of Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah. Nice.
I'd like to point out that purple was not Babs's thing as Batgirl.
No.
And anytime I see her in purple, I just go, first of all, what? Second of all, that's not even eggplant.
Yeah. Well, purple not in print. On TV it was for that one season. And other than that, yeah. Other than that, it was been black and yellow and everything else that follows, right?
So Babs is the only Batgirl that comes to mind that's ever been on TV.
Yep, truly. The only one.
Because the
TV
other
and
one's
film.
not named Batgirl.
Well, not anymore, right?
No, I mean CC, who is not Batgirl, but she is by name, by association.
I hate that.
Listen,
Don't.
man, she was.
Don't.
She goes by what? What does she go by now? It was Black Bat.
She's
then-
still Orphan in continuity,
Still Orphan,
and I
right?
hate it.
Yeah, right. She might as well just go back to Black Bat. Listen, that's truly the only Batgirl.
It's the coolest name.
Okay, let's jump into it. We're talking about Cassandra Cain.
We are
Yes,
talking
it's-
about Cassandra Cain.
It's the only Batgirl that matters, man. She had her own. Listen, Batgirl didn't even have her own series until Cassandra Cain. Not even
Silent
Barbara
Night.
Gordon. Cassandra Cain was the first Batgirl to have her own series.
She was made to be
Also,
Tim
without a
Drake's
doubt.
rival. No wonder Table likes her.
You know, that period of time was probably the best period of time of the Bat family, right? Having
It
Cassandra
was!
there, Tim Drake, Nightwing. It was, the kooky, crazy Azrael in the background. Like, that was a good time. It was a good time.
You had interesting and complex dynamics because
Oh,
Cass
yeah.
is initially mute. She just doesn't speak because it's not that she's incapable of making sound. She was raised deliberately without access to language to encourage her to read body language to the point of being able to look at you and know exactly what you're about to do and what you're feeling. So she
Yeah,
is,
it had a side effect of dyslexia because of it as well.
yes, she is one of the best detectives in the family just by virtue of having this very unique and specific skill that means in any interaction, she knows more than anybody else.
And also, the only Batgirl to be actually adopted by Bruce Wayne.
She wasn't, she got a hug.
Yeah, and he rarely does that. And she just had the sickest costume. She was such a good concept. Fuck, man, like one of the best characters to ever be printed, man. I just love her.
She is the assassin baby trope that they've tried to do with Damien done right.
Oh yeah.
Someone who is raised to be a weapon because she is the daughter of Lady Shiva, or Sandra Hussain,
Mhm.
and David Kane. She was conceived literally to be a bodyguard for Ra's al Ghul. She was
Yeah.
meant to be ultimate fighter, hence the isolation and the language thing, because it was seen as a barrier to her skills. But after her first kill, she was so consumed by grief and empathy and guilt that she ran away and traveled the world for 9 years before ending up in Gotham, where during the events of No Man's Land, she ends up taking on the mantle of Batgirl, which No Man's
And
Land,
developing
man.
a crush on Tim Drake.
Which
No, they're siblings.
and Oracle gave her the thumbs up.
Yes, she got the thumbs up from Oracle herself.
She's like,
Which,
yeah, do it.
honestly, Bruce kind of adopts Cass, but Barbara had already adopted her before that. Maybe not
Yeah,
legally,
exactly.
but in all of
Yeah.
our hearts.
Yeah.
Right? She's also the second Batgirl to be part of a Teen Titans team, and the last.
She does have
True.
that whole like weird fling with Khan, doesn't she?
Yep, she's part of Teen Titans East.
Hmm.
So there's West, there's East, but no Batgirl has been a part of the actual Teen Titans.
The core, yeah.
One day
I
I'll have.
wonder why.
Well,
Maybe because
most
it's
of
a
our
boys'
Batgirls-
league or something.
Most of our Batgirls are never teenagers.
Or they don't have the social kind of background that would put them in that situation. Because like
Yeah.
someone that we're going to get to in a bit doesn't hang out with the Teen Titans, but she did have a mission with Young Justice, and she spent the entire time picking fights with everybody. So she never went back. But
Oh, are we
spoilers.
talking? Is that the name I was trying to dig out just now?
Her Batgirl symbol is cooler than everyone's. It's the edges on black because she understands the need for stealth at all costs.
Her
And
fucking
also,
costume
like
is
the fact
disgusting.
that her mouth looks like it's sewn shut on a
Yep.
full cowl costume.
Yep.
Best. Awesome.
Her costume is so, it speaks well on who she was. It had this just sleekness to it. It's dark. It melts into the shadows. There's no gray on it. You know, she gets the idea of stealth, like you just said, right?
Even
Fuck,
when
man,
she
like,
changes costume and becomes Black Bat there in Batman Incorporated, it's still super dope. Because Tim
there-
She's
Drake
got those
shows up
cool
and
wrist
is like,
wraps that look sick.
I was so happy when she had her own series because like it was so nice to see her without having everybody else on the panel. Like looking at Cassandra's nice. Everything else when she's on a panel with everybody else, she just kind of outshines everybody on that panel because she stands out so much, right? Like everybody else looks boring compared to her. Even
She's so dynamic.
yeah, even crackpot Azrael looked simple compared to her, right? And he comes from the '90s.
and he comes
There's
from the
nothing
whack
simple
time.
about him.
He comes from a crazy time, which
But-
is a funny point because someone brought up that, you know, this is the same time period where Bane broke Bruce's back, and yet this guy is able to stand up and do all his karate kicks, and, you know, Barbara's still in the wheelchair. Same time frame.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
Kinda
Writers.
nuts.
But
Mhm.
the thing about Cass is, first of all, she beat Shiva in a fight. No holds barred, no sneaky tricks, just better than her, which is unheard of. People beat Shiva occasionally. It happens, but
Tim
only by
Drake did it
playing
twice.
dirty. Tim Drake's done it 3 times.
We all know about Tim.
Shut up, please. But Cass, so
Oh, boy.
as a still fairly young vigilante,
Mhm.
almost single-handedly managed Bloodhaven, which we know is a cesspool. That was
Even
also
Rick
a
Grayson couldn't
fantastic
do
book.
that.
Yeah.
You take that back. You take that back.
You don't talk about him that way.
We don't ever
Cass
mention the
with
cab driver
Robin
name.
did it.
Oh man.
She also manages the entirety of fucking Hong Kong by herself.
Yeah,
Wow.
she does.
She how no how
As
That's a
Black
really good
Bat.
question because we don't get a book about it. She just happens in the background after she gets dicked over real hard.
Off
As
panel,
Black Bat,
man.
when she changes her costume, and Tim Drake shows up and was like, "No, this is yours. You can't abandon this. This is your home. This is what you
Mhm.
can
You still
be."
have a family. Call yourself whatever you want.
Mm,
This is
matter,
just some
you can
real
wear-
shitty names, by the way.
damn. I gotta
Black
s-
Robin, Night Bat. Dude, this is why you've had the name Red Robin and apparently Drake.
Stop
Anyway, so let's go back to Batgirl.
Please, please.
Let's
Stop
switch
right there.
gears and let's talk about the one in between Barbara and Cass, Helena Bertinelli.
She wears it
Oh.
for, what, an issue and a half?
One issue
Oh.
and a half. She first appears as Batman Shadow of the Bat, number 83, in March 1999. She wore the costume until stripped of the title because she was overly violent.
Overtly
Overly violent.
Even.
In true Huntress style, really.
Man.
Her costume, okay. She takes what is kind of a selfie with it.
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's nothing great. It certainly
fine.
services the character, but beyond that,
Was she's like, oh, look at me, vigilante. Posted it on Instagram and then just like left it.
But you just basically said Helena's life right there.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, in
wow.
'99, she was uploading to Instagram. Yeah, sure thing.
Look at me, Batman. I'm doing stuff.
MySpace, my bad.
Look at me, I've traveled through time and space across the internet to post this picture. Be impressed.
Posted it on her AOL. My gosh.
Or
But no, Huntress is a cool
MIRC.
character in her own right. Would have been a bad Batgirl.
Helena's
She's a
been in
bad
the-
huntress.
yeah.
Let's be honest. Huntress is irrelevant.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
I was gonna try to put a
But-
positive point. I'm like, she does stuff. She was interesting
But
in
Huntress hot.
Justice League Unlimited. She is. Yeah. I mean, she convinced Nightwing to do stuff, right? Right?
That's true. She's
Right,
also a
so-
teacher.
Yeah, okay, but Nightwing belongs with Barbara Gordon, and anybody else can fight me.
Starfire.
You do this
Thank-
to your cat lady
Beastie,
wife?
thank you. You know the real deal. You know the real relationship.
Yo,
You know it.
if DC movies and freaking the shows prove it as well, then you're wrong. I'm so sorry.
Starfire forever, man.
The hell? No, it's supposed to be with Barbara Gordon. Shut the hell up.
They changed Babs's age just to make that romance happen. She was
Yeah.
initially noticeably older than him.
Yeah, she was.
No.
In my headcanon, Barbara Gordon is like 4 to 5 years older than Dick Grayson.
No, you know what? I think she is for that matter. I think
Yeah,
that,
they aged her down enough that it wasn't like super weird now that they're
Yeah.
both adults, but
yeah.
except for current continuity, which has just
What's current continuity aging? Like,
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's
No,
it's a
don't worry
jum-
about it.
It's a jumble mess.
don't worry about it because DC's writers sure aren't.
There's
So because the new 52
Hey guys, continue.
No,
rebooted
but-
everything, and Batman has only been Batman for 5 years, there's
Uh-huh.
not
Makes no
enough room for
sense.
there's not enough
Make-
room for all the Robins, which
It makes
means
no
there's not enough
sense.
room to Barbara Gordon, which means there's not enough room for Rick Grayson, which means there's
Bro, they're
We're
trying
in
to tell you
pain.
in the 5 years he's been Batman, he's had his back broken and been back as Batman with all the bullshit happening too.
He heals real fast. That's Batman is secretly a meta in this continuity. He has to be.
Fuck.
so you, so you're telling me in this continuity, they don't even know how to age their own characters?
They don't age characters, is what we're saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Tim
they
Drake has
don't-
been
they don't-
17 since 2005.
And at
Wow.
one point they let the boy age and then they brought him back.
Reverse, bitch.
Yeah.
only
is that what-
person
Actually,
that
at this
got
rate,
to
Damien's
age-
going to be older than him.
The only person
Damon-
that got to age in any way, shape, or form was Red Hood.
Wait.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
And
they
his
But
put-
aging
through
doesn't even make sense.
space-time
He's
magic.
probably like 22.
True. Yes.
But what about Dick Grayson?
And yet.
What we don't know. You tell us. You
Dick's
tell
been
us.
trapped at like 25.
He was,
Dick was
Has
Robin.
25
at one
years.
point.
Listen, if Batman has been Batman for 5 years, how long was Dick Grayson Robin?
Oh.
Maybe
If
a
he,
month.
if he met him at when did he meet again? When he was 13.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on continuity between
Alleged.
13 and 16.
So like.
So you're telling me, no, you're telling me that this is the most complicated math problem that even the writers can't make up?
they
this is-
haven't got it right in a long time, dude.
Bro, this is
Oh,
worse than
okay.
freaking grade 7 math. What do you mean?
We're
What are
all
all
in
those-
pain.
What are all those crises on fucking Earths for, man?
Crisis is X equals this, so nobody knows.
Has anyone seen like Rip Hunter or any of the other time cops in a while? Because I
Nope.
think they might have all just been taken out back behind DC's shed and shot.
Put out their misery. Poor
Listen,
Rick.
the
poor
only
Rick.
person that's doing any time traveling right now is Booster Gold, and he's too busy showing Batman and Superman
Oh.
their dead and or alive parents.
Wait, can someone tell me
Uh.
any good news? Oh, that was. You know what? I almost rambled through that and I caught it last second. You're rough, bro. Why you like this? Wow.
Wow.
I think we
That
should
full
stop talking
stop.
about timeline shenanigans before we accidentally retcon ourselves out of existence and move on to the next Batgirl.
Whoa, man.
So the next Batgirl that Cassandra Cain actually gives the title to would be Stephanie Brown,
They're friends.
who appears in Batgirl #1 in August 2009.
Mhm.
The cover on the very first issue is a little bit misleading, deliberately so. It makes you go, oh, is this more Cass? And it's not.
Hurtful.
It is a little bit, but Steph has had a rough run of it. She started being a vigilante as spoiler to fuck over her father, Cluemaster, and then she was spoiler for a while. People kept trying to get her to stop. She wouldn't stop. She ended up being Robin for a brief period of time. She died, and then that death got retconned. So instead, she just ran away to Africa for a while, and then came back as spoiler for a while, but only a very brief period of time before everything got fucked right to hell. And she ended up being Batgirl on the other side of it, which I know is a lot real fast.
That's all right. Stephanie Brown's one
She
of
only
those...
takes the role of Robin
Yeah.
post being Batgirl because Tim Drake's dad doesn't let him out to play.
His dad literally sends him away to boarding school. So Steph's like, well, I see this job opportunity has just opened up. Hello,
Job
Bruce Wayne."
security.
Are you hiring right
Except
now?
she doesn't even know that he's Bruce Wayne. He's still just Batman to her at that point.
You're not
She
cool enough to get to the
happens
club
to
yet.
be the second Robin to get fired after being defiant, outright defiant to Batman.
She's defiant and starts a gang war.
Well done.
Now, admittedly, it probably wouldn't have happened if she'd just been given full information in the first place. But
Mhm.
she was told not to do things, and then she did things
And
and it went very
explicitly did them
poorly.
on purpose.
On purpose to cause problems. Don't get me wrong. Female Robin, great concept. Looking at you, Carrie Kelly, we love you. But there's a reason she didn't last, and it was in part because writers decided it wouldn't work.
Carrie
Because they
Kelly,
wanted to
you
bring
mean-
Tim back for,
You mean the only
probably
capable
sexism
Robin
reasons.
that actually did her job?
Yeah, we love you.
And
Carrie.
then takes up the title of Batwoman.
Yeah, I didn't argue with Bruce the entire time. She actually did her fucking job.
Yeah.
The truest
But,
soldier.
however, she does the worst Batwoman costume.
Well,
Indisputably.
her Robin costume wasn't forgiving either, but I mean, it was cool for what
but
it was.
but it at least was Robin. This Batwoman costume, I swear to God, it's on screen now. It is just an eyesore.
Stephanie Brown is famous for being into the color purple, but specifically the shade of eggplant. That's what her spoiler costume was.
Yeah.
So when she puts on the cape and cowl, she customizes her costume with pretty sick purple stripes down the side. She also gets some of her most formal training once she takes on the role of Batgirl, because a staple of Stephanie for a long time was that she was basically running without resources. Spoiler was a costume she put together in her goddamn closet.
And I kind of like that costume.
She was that for a couple of months. And she trained with Cass a little bit occasionally, which is part of how their friendship grew. It was pretty great.
Mhm.
But realistically, Stephanie never really had a mentor until she was Batgirl and finally got some support in her vigilantism.
Good for her.
She deserves it.
Also, like all the Robins and anybody that's not Batman deserves some friends.
Everybody.
You know, Bruce doesn't like friends.
That's
do
why I'm
he?
saying he can be the loner that he wants to be until he wants Batman Incorporated
Yeah,
again.
right. Oh,
And then
parents.
suddenly
yeah,
has
I know.
tons of friends.
And then he has like Batwing and Squire and Knight and Batcow and
Those are some
you know-
pulls
Liv.
from the depths of the earth there, buddy.
Right, for a guy who doesn't want a family, this guy has a pretty big fucking family.
He radiates sadness and orphans appear.
Stop.
across the earth even.
Across Earth's time, space, they flock, man.
Birds of a feather.
Oh yeah, right.
The shame about Steph's Batgirl run, though, is that it ended and then continuity got drop kicked.
Mhm.
So we
The
never
New
really
52.
Mhm.
and she got pulled right out of that cape. Basically got just smacked in the face with some character regression,
Yeah.
and we lost that. The ending, by the way, to Steph's Batgirl run leaves you on a note. I'm not going to spoil it because I do want to encourage people to read it,
Mhm.
but oh, that's really asking for some kind of follow-up that we will never get.
Link in the description to find out the book.
But really, every Batgirl's been done dirty by the continuity reboot because now there's only one, and
It's
we love
back.
Babs.
Right. It's
but-
back to the Babs.
Cass is running around with the name Orphan after so much of her story revolving around finding a place and a family.
Well, she has like
Fucking abysmal.
You know how
Babs'
much
League
the
of
name-
Batgirls. That's
You know
not
much-
nothing.
Yeah. Do you know how much that name hurts? Because almost every last one of them are orphans, and you go by the code name of Orphan. That's like
Haha, I'm the
redundant.
most orphan who ever orphaned.
Orphan. It's it's so bizarre of a name.
And Shiva's not even dead.
Oh man. I never like that name. It's
I
kind
mean,
of an
like,
odd
if
name.
you're irrelevant, aren't you dead?
Oh, Shiva only comes out when they need someone to prove they're a badass by fighting her. That's it. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Other
She's
than
a
when
sh-
she had her
Yeah,
own
and
little
when they're
three
too, and
birds
when
of
they're
prey, which is
too,
cool as hell.
She's a
and they're
rites of
too
passage
not
now.
good to fight just Deathstroke.
Ouch. But Steph went through a bunch of character growth from being kind of a petulant teenager to really being more grounded in vigilantism as something to do to help people rather than as something to do out of spite. No, now she's back to being spoiler, which
I
cool
always found
costume, unfortunate premise.
Yeah, me too. I always found Steph to get the short end of the stick. She always got bullied and roughed up by the whole rest of the gang, while the whole rest of the gang was always more open until everybody else joining in anyways. I always found the pushback on her was kind of ridiculous.
Well, I think in part it was because everyone else kind of went, "Why are you even here?" Even though her backstory was pretty great in terms of
And
my
pretty
dad's
blatant.
committing crime, I'm going to help stop it. Well, because they kept pulling up the argument of you don't have any training or anything, and then refusing to train her.
And also, my dad's clue master.
Right? It's just bizarre. Like, oh, what's it gonna take for Stephanie to become worthy? Does she have to lose her parents too?
Well, dying didn't work, so maybe.
Fuck, man. It's just
And
weird.
right now, the reality that is the DC Comics
Yeah.
is about to get twists and torn 6 ways from Sunday and then end up not on the Sabbath.
Stop.
Oof.
I
But
think
like
it leaves
current
us-
continuity.
What's going on? What's are they because like DC likes switching continuity.
So Dark Knight's the new metal thing that's happening
Yeah.
is hypothetically about to be a Dark Crisis.
Okay.
So get fucking strapped in for that.
Oh boy.
If it lets them clean up the fucking mess they've made, I'll take it.
More of a mess again. Are we gonna
Well-
retcon Drake?
Please?
No, because Brian Michael Bendis has that character and he likes money and he has his own imprint. So
And
Young
also, I'm
Justice,
pretty sure the Young
Oh.
Justice kids are still off out in like the multiverse, which means that they are safe from continuity reboots.
they sure are. But that leaves my boy Khan ready to go.
Hey,
Khan is with
welcome back.
them, and he might get to be a real boy again.
welcome back.
Speaking
Let's
of,
be real,
though,
he'll not be a real boy ever again.
Hmm.
Oh, Steph
Who
makes
knows?
appearances in Young
Yeah.
Justice occasionally, but
Mhm.
only as Tim's snarky, mean girlfriend.
Oh, reduced
Because
to that now.
any life in the relationship has been reduced to them quipping at each other, which is a big frowny face sticker from me.
I'm with you.
It
on
also
that.
reduces both characters to the two that are in a relationship, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Steph is more than that, and Tim is more than that. Let them
Even the
be
show has better
characters.
writing than that when it comes to really annoying characters or really like upsetting characters and pairing them together and going, actually, yeah.
We also get Steph in Young Justice now, which is neat. Maybe she'll have
Yeah.
more of a personality than Cardboard Box Tim.
Oh, poor Tim.
Stop that.
He keeps getting the short end of the stick too now. But we all know
Look,
that.
everyone from that, as you said, excellent period of
Mhm,
Batman lore has
mhm.
been sucked dry with all of their cool bits removed and left there as like really confused skin suits
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to play the roles.
Basically everything from I want to say everything from Batman Troika all the way down to about like 2000 something, where like was like the good period of Batman stuff. Again,
Let's call it,
But-
just for the sake of argument, 2003.
yes, yeah, that's the period I'm talking about. Thank you. From then to then, it's like a good,
Just before the new 52.
just a little bit before.
But I think we've gotten pretty tangential. Shall we return to Batgirls and turn to the obscure as hell ones?
I have the last one in regular continuity. Her name is
Oh.
Charlotte Cage Radcliffe.
Charlie!
Her first
Right.
appearance is Birds of Prey number 96 in September 2006. She
Wow.
spots a absence in the Bat family, and so she dons a homemade version of a Batgirl costume. She is the only one with metahuman powers that takes on the
It's
name
a pretty
Batgirl.
sick power too.
Hmm.
She has teleportation powers, she has super strength, and she has enhanced healing.
Stop this. I like it already.
She's a badass.
She also stalks the birds of prey, which makes her the birds of predator. And after being conned into being stood in front of Huntress and Barbara Gordon Batgirl,
Hmm.
she gets asked very politely to not use their likeness, and so changes up the costume a little bit and changes her identity to Misfit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not really,
She
it's not
is-
exactly a great costume, but I mean, she's still a badass chick though.
It's exactly as homemade as the other one was, though.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's still pretty cool. She's still rocking it, man.
And
Her power set's
also
crazy.
it's a different body type, which is not something we've ever seen.
You're right.
Mm.
Like, she's a swole girl.
She is. Her arms are beefy.
We appreciate the
And-
swole girls.
Her teleportation is so okay. Let's tell me the normal limitations for a teleporter. What's normally a drawback on that one? Like,
Oh,
Places
end up
you've
in a,
been.
yeah, end up in a wall if you don't do it correctly or some shit like that.
It's got to be places you've been.
places you've been, things you can see. You
Yeah,
have to know
things
the
you can picture.
layout,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Right? Nightcrawler defects, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, not for Charlie. She can teleport wherever she wants, whenever she wants, however she wants. It'll be fine. She doesn't need to know what it looks like, doesn't need to know where it is. She can just go.
Also, distance doesn't matter for her.
Nope.
She can like go from here to like
She is
Australia
the
and
most
back.
powerful teleporter in the DC universe.
Holy shit.
No, what?
And she was Batgirl.
And it's how she was spying on the Birds of Prey for so long, because she could just teleport into Babs's
in and
fucking
pop out.
super secret base, and no one could stop her. No one can stop her from doing anything she wants, and she chooses to fight crime? Hell yeah, Charlie.
Oh, no wonder she's well written. She is done by Gail Simone.
And I believe she pops in and out of the actual Batcave because she's like, yeah, Batcave.
She's like, I want to go there.
She can, so she will.
Ah,
And
fair
she does make a singular appearance in Batgirl number 34 in the New 52, so
Yeah.
she might still exist.
Until this dark reboot I've been told about now.
Well, it's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to complete happening until at least November, so everything's still intact. But technically, because DC Rebirth didn't rewrite continuity, it's more just rejiggle it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It took the
We're-
box and shook it around.
We're
Mhm.
still in the New 52.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just with some extra characters and less lines, question mark?
Damn.
Some things happened, maybe.
Possibly.
I'd like to throw up before we finalize anything a
Mhm.
Batgirl who is not main continuity but has kind of a fun costume.
Mhm.
So in Future's End, there is a Batgirl we get to see.
Future's End. Here we go.
Oh,
That
jeez.
was sure a story with a lot
Mhm.
going on, and it's always fun to see Terry McGinnis. But do you want to guess who was wearing the cape and cowl in that one? Because I doubt you will.
Who?
Tiffany Fox
Oh,
was wearing
yes.
a pink Batgirl costume.
I've heard of this.
What now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Tiffany
she was.
Fox. Okay.
It was pretty cool actually, and she doesn't do a whole bunch per se because side character,
Mm-hmm.
but that
It'd be like that.
it be like that. And hey, someone's got to take after Luke and his mecha Batman costume.
Oh. Oh, she's in. Okay, well, another reference. Sorry, Tiffany is from Telltale as well, from what I'm seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
she was in that game as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Was.
so when they put her in there, she was pretty interesting of how they used her. But I did not realize the coloring was the pink. Yeah, in the game, it's more or less like a purplish, like a really dark purplish type. So
Probably something that looks more like Steph's then.
Yeah, with the purple trim.
So the deal with Carrie Kelly was that obviously she got too old to be Robin, right? She had a bad case of the Dick Graysons.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
She got too old to be Robin, and so she
Wasn't
asked
wearing pants
Batman,
either.
"Hey, what's another one?" And he kind of went, "I guess there was Batgirl." And he's like, "I want Batgirl." And then very recently, she changed it to Batwoman and put on a much sleeker Batwoman costume.
One of those you can fight crime in. The other you should probably go back to the circus.
Oh, my God.
Haley
Okay,
Circus?
oh boy.
Maybe.
Just kidding.
Maybe
it's
that's
the
why it's so
future.
ugly. The first one was a horrible, hideous circus costume, like her Robin costume.
Yeah.
So maybe she was like, it has to stay the same and on brand.
Or it could be character growth. You know,
Well,
we all go
Batman's
through a
partner
rough
needs to be a
age.
shiny target.
You know, we all go through a rough time in about our teenage, early 20 years where, we think wearing certain shirts are cool for a little while there. And then we go, yeah, that's dumb. Why am I doing that?
We're looking at you, anime shirts. We're looking at you.
Okay, because I thought I was being called out somehow.
No, I'm actually calling out myself because I decided that, button-up shirts completely every day of my entire life was a great idea.
I mean, if they weren't ugly shirts.
If they weren't, if they weren't terrible, I mean.
Yeah, except for I didn't fit what I was trying to do. Anyway, not about me. Batgirl episode.
But this episode is not like our Robin episode. This is not a competition.
No.
All
It's merely a
Batgirls are good
showcase.
Batgirls. Yeah. It's just a darn shame now only have one again.
There's only one good Batgirl. Come on now.
Yeah, Barbara Gordon is Batgirl. Helena Bertinelli is Huntress. Cassandra Cain is Orphan? Question mark.
Black Bat.
Shh, that's the real Batgirl. Please stand up.
And Stephanie
was already
Brown is
standing.
Spoiler. But she's not speaking. And on that note,
Beastie, can you wrap us up?
I sure can. Where you can catch us is on our Twitter as @Crusade Nerd. Instagram is Nerd Crusade, and we upload every Wednesday to YouTube. And you can also download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device to Anchor.fm website or whatever podcasts are found by searching Nerd Crusade.
And that's to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this issue, go ahead and button mash the thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the subscribe button on YouTube or anywhere you can to listen to our podcast. And to be updated to know when a new issue is out, hit the bell to be notified by